Your brain loves making sense of things. But what if the world refuses to make sense? From time travel puzzles to logic traps that break reality, today we're exploring 10 paradoxes that will melt your neurons and reboot your sense of logic. So grab your coffee, open your third eye, gently please, and let's untangle the impossible. 1. The Barber Paradox. Who shaves the barber? In a small town, there's one barber who shaves everyone who doesn't shave themselves. But who shaves the barber? If he shaves himself, he breaks his own rule. If he doesn't, he still breaks it. It's not a logic problem. It's a definition glitch. Some problems don't have answers. They exist to remind us logic can eat itself. Takeaway, self-referential systems like logic or language can collapse when they define themselves. 2. The grandfather paradox. Can you undo your own birth? If you went back in time and stopped your grandfather from meeting your grandmother, you'd never be born, which means you couldn't have gone back in time in the first place. This paradox exposes how time travel messes with causality. The past isn't a sandbox, it's a web. Pull one thread and you delete yourself. 3. The bootstrap paradox. Something from nothing. Imagine a scientist gets a blueprint for a time machine from his future self. He builds it, uses it, and later gives the blueprint to his younger self. So, who actually invented it? The object or the idea exists without an origin. It's the universe's way of saying, don't ask too many questions. 4. The ship of Theseus. When does something stop being itself? If you replace every plank of a ship, piece by piece, is it still the same ship? What if you rebuilt the old ship with the discarded planks? Which one's the real one? The paradox of identity. Things and people change over time. But where does the original you end and the new one begin? 5. The liar paradox. On this sentence is false. If the sentence, this statement is false, is true, it must be false. But if it's false, that means it's true. Congratulations, you just broke logic. This paradox reminds us, language isn't flawless. Sometimes words are the bugs, not the solution. 6. The paradox of tolerance. Can you tolerate intolerance? Philosopher Karl Popper said, unlimited tolerance leads to the disappearance of tolerance. If we tolerate everything, even hate, hate eventually destroys tolerance itself. So to protect an open society, you sometimes have to draw a line. Paradoxical kindness. To preserve freedom, you must defend it strictly. 7. The paradox of choice. More options, less happiness. We think more choices make us free, but too many choices paralyze us, or worse, make us regret the one we picked. Psychologist Barry Schwartz calls it the paradox of choice. Freedom feels great until it starts to feel like anxiety. 8. The Sorites paradox. When does a heap become a heap? If one grain of sand isn't a heap and adding one more still isn't, at what point does it become a heap? The Sorites paradox exposes how fuzzy boundaries mess with logic. The real world isn't binary, it's made of gradients. 9. The paradox of the unexpected hanging. The judge's trick. A judge tells a prisoner, you'll be hanged next week, but you won't know which day. The prisoner thinks, if it's Friday, I'll know by Thursday, so it can't be Friday. If it's Thursday, I'll know by Wednesday, so it can't be Thursday. He rules out every day, yet the hanging surprises him midweek. Sometimes logic can't predict surprise. 10. The Fermi paradox. Where's everybody? The universe is huge. Billions of stars, billions of planets. Statistically, there should be life everywhere. So why is it so quiet? Maybe intelligent life wipes itself out. Maybe we're early. Or maybe No one's talking because we're the weird ones. Paradoxes aren't just puzzles, they're reality checks. They show us that logic, language, and even science have edges. The universe isn't broken. Our understanding of it just has limits. Which paradox twisted your brain the most? Drop it below. This is Hidden Reflex, where we make confusion feel like clarity. See you next week, assuming the timeline still exists.